Hi, I'm Rachel Hirsch, and I'm a history teacher at the Cambridge School of Weston and also Dean of Faculty. And I've been working at Cambridge School for almost 20 years, um, joyfully and gleefully, especially with my partner here.
Hi, I'm Marilyn DelDonno. I teach in the science department. I'm sustainability coordinator, and I've been at the Cambridge School since the dawn of time, which is 36 years. And one of the best things I do is teach an integrated studies course with my colleague, Rachel.
Mm, Thanks, Marilyn. So we wanted to talk to folks today a little bit about the course that we teach, which is really for us both. It's a real highlight in the work we do and a real joy with our students. It's an integrated studies class called The Art of Prediction, which is a title that never fails to baffle our students.
And it's a junior senior class, and it earns a history credit. But the content is very much looking at history and science in parallel. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see our PowerPoint. And we'll talk a little more about it and then come back at the end. So Rachel, you want to talk a little bit about integrated studies in general?
Sure. So at Cambridge School, we do something that we call integrated studies, which is different from interdisciplinary studies because in an integrated studies class, while we do have two teachers working, bringing together two separate disciplines, the idea is that the class is not 50% of one and 50% of the other, but is really about what's the sort of, powerful, dynamic, sort of like chemical reaction that happens when we bring these two disciplines together and we use the tools and the understandings of these disciplines to look at a single item through sort of these two lenses at once. What's revealed that couldn't be revealed through just one or just the other, that only exists in the combination of the two. So we are often looking at pretty conceptual, really difficult subject matter and really thoughtfully taking specific tools and perspectives from the two disciplines and seeing what happens when we pair them to look at these larger conceptual issues.
And I think it's really wonderful, not only for us, but for the students to have us both there together. And the students come to realize that history and science aren't as different as they thought. And that as history people, they can do science, and as science people, they can do wonderful work in history. So we're going to show you some of the authors that they read, and it's quite a list. Oops, sorry. No, first we're going to tell you our course goals. All right.
There we go.
So we're looking
So
at science and history in parallel. We look at the philosophy and methodology of the two disciplines. We talk about what kind of evidence they accept, what is meant by proof and by truth. And we do have to limit ourselves mostly to the Western intellectual tradition because it is such a large field.
and really also that's something we're working on expanding and altering, thinking about what we've historically taught that we can take out and what new things we can bring in. It's just requiring some exciting learning from the two of us, wouldn't you say?
You bet. Okay, so there are three essential questions, and the students know this from the beginning of the class. And these are essentially the questions they have to answer in their final project. So what is science as a discipline? What is history? And the real tough one is what is truth and how you find it as a scientist and as a historian.
And of course, no problem. You just have to answer each of those questions in a single sentence. That's our final project. So it's pretty good times. But we're examining those questions all the way through. And again, trying to both look through these two lenses and see what happens when we bring them together. And I do think that having two teachers in the room doing this work live and then also doing it in partnership with the students really helps to cement the idea and experience of the value of collaboration and and the idea that the best work that we do will not be done in isolation, that we really do need each other and the knowledge that other people bring to the picture to really sort of focus and sharpen and deepen that picture.
Thanks, Rachel.
No? Sure.
So here are some selected thinkers, and you can see it's quite a list. Very challenging reading. Uh, the students have to think very deeply about what they're reading. Some of it's primary source, some of it is not, but it's all quite challenging.
And you may know some of the folks on here, and some of them, or even all of them, might be new to you. And that's often true for our students as well. And that's fine. We're not expecting people to have a lot of background. We're choosing really hard texts, but we're choosing small, very carefully selected pieces of hard texts so that people can really dig in and dig deep, but not have to sort of take on the whole thing. It is a high school class, but we believe that high schoolers can tackle really high level subject matter. It just needs to be done in a very thoughtful and intentional manner.
And if you aren't familiar with some of these, you can still see, I think, that we're starting with the ancient Greeks, making our way through the 21st century. We're doing philosophy, we're doing microhistory, we're doing quantum mechanics. So it's a very exciting series of readings.
All right. So as we were saying, we do this sort of larger conceptual work, and the way we're able to do this kind of big scale work is to do it in very intentional and structured, using very intentional and structured methods. So we use a lot of protocols in our class. So some of the ones that we use that folks may have heard of, we use chalk talks, text rendering, loop writing, microlabs, seminar style discussions, dialectical notebooks. These are all structured techniques that usually partner both writing and discussion in a way that's meant to not have us just speak about what we already know, but actually use our work in writing and in discussion to get to somewhere new, to actually move beyond get what we know out on the table so that we can then move beyond it, so that it really does focus on learning and discovery and not on sort of reflecting the context that you had when you started.
So
So
students will write several essays and do a project, but I think we'll jump right to the final project where, as Rachel said, they have to write a one-sentence answer to the essential questions. More importantly, though, they have to show us how they arrived at those answers. Somehow show us each step of the process, and the format is wide open. So we've had some absolutely phenomenal ways of presenting this information, mobiles, dialogues, Rachel.
dance performances, puppet shows, board games, animation, really like interactive flow charts, journals, sort of interconnected boxes. Really, it's an opportunity for kids to sort of show us what the inside of their brain looks like, so that we not only see the answers that they came to, but really we put the emphasis on sort of the unique and dynamic process that each of them engaged in to get to their answers.
Great. So here we are. Obviously, we love what we do, and I think that's true across the board, but
Yeah.
we particularly love this class. And if you have any questions, I bet there's a way for you to contact us.
Absolutely, absolutely. We love to talk about this class. We love to talk about teaching at Cambridge School. For both of us, it it is our sort of identity home and our intellectual home, and it's a place we love very much. And we hope that we'll see some of you there.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.